Welcome to section 1.2 of Geometry, Points, Lines, and Planes. Before we begin this section of notes, these are some of the materials that you need to have ready to go so you can start writing this down. Make sure you have your Chapter 1 packet, specifically on page or section 1.2. You need a piece of computer paper right next to you because you're going to be doing a drawing. This drawing you will turn in with your notes. Make sure you have a straight edge. It could be a ruler, it could be a book, I don't care, something to draw straight lines with. And you need something in color, pencils, crayons, markers, etc. Okay, I'm going to work through these directions as I'm saying them to you. So you have your note sheet of paper on one side and you have your computer paper on the other side. The first thing I want you to do is take your computer paper and make a dot anywhere on the page. Label that as point A. So when you're labeling a point, or when you're naming a point, the symbol for a point is a point with a capital letter, not in cursive. Okay, go back to your computer paper. Put another point anywhere on the paper and call it B. Then with your straight edge, what I want you to do is draw a line, connect A to B. Okay? What we just drew there was a segment, not a line. If you're connecting A to B and you're not going past AB, it's called a segment. So for notation, go back to your note page and you just draw segment, which is just a bar, and then AB below it. A and B denote the endpoints of that segment. If I wanted to create a line, I would take segment AB, but I'd have to extend it past A and past B. So the whole thing is line AB. And to denote that, we draw the symbol which looks like a line, has arrows on both ends, and all you need to do to name a line is pick any 2 points on that line. So we call that line AB. Okay, now let's talk about collinear points. Collinear points are points that lie on the same line. Hence, you kind of get that collinear points. Okay? So I can put another point on this line because a line is made up of infinitely many points all close together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a point on here on my line AB and I'm going to call it point C. I could say that points, or another way to show points is just abbreviate PT for point. Points A, B, and C are collinear. Or you could simply say A and C are collinear, or points C and B. Doesn't matter. You could pick any 2 of the 3, or you can list all 3 together. But they still lie on the same line. Okay, a ray. A ray is starts at one point. It's part of a line that starts at one point and extends forever in one direction. So let's say, for instance, I take point C here. I have a ray from C going through B this way. And to denote that, the symbol for a ray, you always start at the end point. And C is my end point. And then you have to tell which direction the ray went. So my ray went through point B. Okay? But there's also another ray on that line. And again, it starts at C, but it goes through A. So I say ray C A. The starting point or the end point of the ray comes first, and then the second point shows which direction. Okay? 2 rays, if you put any 2 rays together, and the 3 points are collinear, they make up that line. Now, opposite rays are this same example right here. Opposite rays are going to be rays that have the same endpoint and go in opposite directions. So for instance, ray CB and ray CA are opposite rays. Both of those start at point C, but one goes through A while the other goes through B. They're going in opposite directions. And just a quick note, make sure that your symbol for ray, right here, always points to the right, even though the picture of the ray may not. Okay, now let's draw another point on your paper, anywhere you would like, but it cannot be on line AB. So I'm going to put point D right there. I want to draw a line that connects C and D. But remember, I'm drawing a line, so my line needs to extend past C and past D. There's line CD. So I would say that line AB and line CD intersect where? Can anybody guess? The intersection refers to all those points that two objects have in common. In this case, these two lines intersect at point C. In other words, C is on both lines. It's on line AB and it's on line CD. Okay, so the intersection is point C. Now the plane, that is it's a flat surface that extends forever in 2 dimensions. Basically, any sheet of paper would represent a plane. Your book cover would represent a plane. The wall in your room represent a plane. So can anybody say how many planes are represented in any given room? You should say 6, because you have 4 walls, you have a floor, and you have a ceiling. So there are 6 planes in any given room. I mean, there's infinitely more, but 6 visible ones that we describe. So we're going to represent our computer paper, where you're doing all these drawings at, right here, as a plane. Or if you want to, you can box in the drawing that you have. And a plane, you need 3 letters to represent a plane. I shouldn't say letters, I should say 3 points. But they cannot be collinear points. So I'm going to say this is plane A, D, B. In order of those 3 points does not matter. Or if you don't want to name a plane by 3 points, a lot of times if you see a cursive capital letter, typically in the right hand corner of your paper, that's another way to denote a plane. So plane ADB, or I could say plane R. Now R is not a point because it's cursive. Okay, R just represents the name of my plane. So coplanar points are any points that are in that plane. So in our example, we have 4 points in that plane. Points A, B, C, and D are coplanar because they lie in that plane. Alright, what I would like you to do is try to match the definitions or the term with the description. Leave the bottom part of your notes, the postulate and everything from below, those 4 bullets, for tomorrow. We'll go over those in class. We will also check that your terms are going to the correct description too. So don't get too excited about it, but go ahead and try it, and I will check your notes tomorrow. Good luck.